my goal is not to enter the market, build an audience fast, monetize it, and then leave. I just want to play the long game. I want to be here for a long time because I actually love what I'm doing.
You've had a lot of viral tweets, but your most viral ever said, you make 5x, you want a 10x. You make 10x, you want a 20x. You make 20x, you want a 50x, etc. Then your investment goes down 95% and you cry. Greed is a plague. Learn to control it. Learn this lesson. So we've all seen a lot of creators, they come up fast, they start to build an audience, and then they start to monetize really quickly. And they want to figure out, how can I get the most out of these people and out of the attention that I have? You've worked to build your audience over time, and you've had a really nice, steady approach. How do you focus on playing the long game when it comes to building that connection with your fans and your audience?
Okay, so first of all, thank you very much for ruining my plans because I was actually planning on resharing that exact same tweet, but on a long form. So thanks, Greg, for ruining this. And so about like playing the long term, yeah, I've been creating content around crypto since 2018, and I always had like long term in mind, not only from like a investing perspective in the crypto space, but also about like content creation, because like my goal is not to enter the market, build an audience fast, monetize it in some way, and then leave. I just want to play the long game. I want to be here for a long time because I actually love what I'm doing. Like I love like giving value online, even if it's for free, because I actually, by doing that, I'm feeling like fulfilled. Like it's actually one of my life missions to like keep building every single day and giving value every single day to my audience, even if they don't give me like money back. Because actually, up until now, I still haven't monetized my brand as like a lot of people do. The only money I made up until now with my brand was just with like partnership with some like the biggest like crypto platforms, like to give them exposure through my social media, and also by sharing like referral links to those platforms, and also by collaborating with like a few selected projects, because of course my DMs are always crowded with scam project and also like W's project, but I always ignore them all. Like I ignore like 99% of them, and I actually still haven't monetized my brand like a lot of people are doing. Like I know like a lot of friends of mine that are selling courses, selling mentorship. I've never done that because like I don't know. I just wanted to focus on growing my community, even like without even thinking about like monetizing it. It's just something I'm doing like because I love it. And if I decide one day to monetize it, I think I will do very well because my audience trusts me, and I never ask them anything. I just gave them like a lot of value for free. And I'm sure that like whenever I decide to flip the switch, I will do fine if I want.
Yeah, you're gonna give something great to your audience, I know, and they trust you. And what's cool about crypto, I think, as an influencer, is that you're kind of making money doing the other thing that you're talking about. Like you're making money in crypto, doing trading and all this stuff, and so you don't necessarily have to monetize your audience right away. And it's because you've been able to do that monetization on the side, you've done a lot of traveling. I know you're spending a lot of time in Dubai and in Bangkok and in Italy, all over the place. That's one of the things that I wanted to do when I first started creating online and taking more of an entrepreneurial approach to my life, is build travel into it. So I'm curious, like, how has travel and seeing the world played a part in the way that you look at creating?
So I actually started traveling after COVID. I moved to Dubai. It was like 2022. So thanks to the fact that I was working online, I was making money online, I was able to avoid taking the jab because like I'm a bit against it, and I was able to fly to Dubai and avoid like COVID restrictions and shit because like Dubai was pretty free back then. So it was was the first blessing. And then right now like my life basically is I go wherever I want to go whenever I want to go because like I'm blessed uh, by being able to work online. So I just need like my laptop, my phone, an internet connection, and I can do it from whenever, wherever I want. So it's amazing. That it's the life I always dreamed of, and I'm so grateful for like believing in me and actually like sticking to my own plans even during like hard times. And right now everything is paying off. I'm still nowhere near where I want to be, but actually I'm making progress like every single day, even if slow, doesn't matter. Like I'm getting closer and closer to my goals. So
One of the things that you've done in terms of that progress, I think, is kind of like put your face out there a little bit more. And I know you want to establish yourself as a bit more of a brand and, you know, who you are as a person. And so with your Instagram, I know you had like your personal Instagram. It was technically not private, so people could see. But most people, including myself, I had no idea that you were doxxed. But recently you posted that picture of yourself to Twitter. It's now your pinned tweet. How has that changed? Has that changed anything in terms of kind of coming out and being like, hey, this is who I am, and versus just hiding behind like a PFP on Twitter and stuff?
okay, well, I'm start by saying that I'm not like the average like content creator because I think that I put emotions behind my tweets, and I also I'm telling my own story, and I think that my audience feels what I share, and actually like our connection is a bit deeper than like another guy which is just like posting highlights about the crypto market and shit like that. So I think that our connection was already deep, and I've been receiving a lot of DMs from people, etc., etc. But I think that sharing my face, my and like how I look and shit with my audience can make them like attached to me even more. Like we can build like an even deeper connections because they see myself as a human like them and not just like a some dude, random dude behind like a PFP, and they can trust me even more.
I think that you're dead on with this idea of kind of really putting yourself out there, especially in the crypto space with so many people that are anonymous. I think it really sets you apart to kind of be like, hey, I'm a real person. This is, you know, things that I'm going through. This is how I feel. This is what I look like. And so, you know, I'm putting a lot of time myself also into like these personal tweets, especially the long form tweets. I think they're amazing for kind of opening up about that. You've had probably more success than anyone that I've seen with these long form tweets. So I'm curious if you could share with some of the people who are watching, like what your process is for creating those to get the most out of them and to tell the stories the best. Also, how you compare them to threads in terms of doing long form on Twitter, and like just how you view storytelling in general.
Okay, so I'm start by saying that I'm loving like long form tweets. I mean, when I wrote threads, it was okay, it was cool. I think I wasn't really good at them because I actually didn't like them because you know you always add the cap on every single tweet. So maybe you had like a great thought, but you weren't able to like put that thought in a specific tweet. You had to edit it, cut a bit, and like the writing process for me wasn't that smooth. But with long form tweets, I can just like write whatever the fuck I want. I can let my brain flow, and I can just like dump everything that's in my brain on the fucking tweet. And then after dumping all my thoughts, I can edit it a bit to make it like a bit more beautiful and to keep like my audience like a bit more entertained when they read it. You know, like it's when you write a long form tweet, it's always good to like space every single phrase, use like a bit bold here and there, use a bit of all caps here and there, and to keep like the reader more entertained. Because if you just type everything without spacing and shit, it wouldn't be that effective. But I actually think that long form tweets are like a blessing for content creators, and I love them, and I will keep on exploring how to become better and better with them. I also saw that Twitter recently introduced like an option where you can put like also images between the text. I've never tried that because mostly I write with my phone, honestly, when I'm shitting. But but yeah, like I will also try to write them with my laptop and try to put some images here and there to make them more visually appealing. And I think that actually like reading long tweets, it's almost like reading articles. The flow is the same. You just have to scroll down. It's so I think it's really user friendly. In my opinion, they are way better than threads.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the trend where it's going. I have so many thoughts around these long tweets. You bring up the bringing the picture up. I have played around with that, like doing the inline media. So you can drag it from desktop and you can put it in between. But then if you send it on mobile, it either goes in the wrong spot or it doesn't show inline at all. It still shows as an attachment. It only works on desktop. And if you put multiple images on desktop, only the first one stays where you want it to, and the other one messes up. So similar to kind of like how they added bold and italics when you post from desktop, and it like sometimes it'll be on the wrong letters and stuff on mobile. It's still kind of similar where there's that disconnect. So I'm not using that just yet, but eventually I think that makes a big push against kind of these email newsletters and more blog posts and stuff like that, where if you can monetize and write long form directly to your audience on Twitter, then that's a way that people can start to express themselves in a longer format, and build their community. I know you're thinking about potentially building an email newsletter. How do you view that as another tool to kind of engage your audience further, write longer content? And are you going to be like repurposing some of the stuff that you did on Twitter into the newsletter? Like, how are you thinking about the content for that?
So basically, like everybody right now is starting a newsletter because I think it's the next big trend alongside Twitter. Because of course, like when you think about Instagram, when you think about Twitter, you don't really own your audience. Whether with an email newsletter, you really own your audience, and also you can have like a more direct approach with your followers. It's like a one-on-one approach because your email goes directly in the inbox of your follower, and yeah, the approach is more direct. And I know that a lot of people are using newsletter to upsell like courses and shit because it's a part of the funnel. I don't think, at least at first, I don't think I will use it for that reason. But it's since I love writing, it's just something for me to express myself even more. I mean, I already launched my newsletter, honestly, but I only launched it on Instagram with a shitty name. So I then decided to stop because I was thinking about a better name. Maybe I will call it Wi-Fi Money. I know it's like our brand, but maybe it can be a nice idea. But I still haven't decided. But actually, like I want to launch a newsletter to maybe take some of my long form tweets and make them even a bit longer, put more thoughts on them because even with long form tweets, you have a cap on the amount of word you can write. And maybe sometimes I have to cut some thoughts because I don't want to like post a tweet that's gonna take like 5 minutes for my audience to read it. So maybe I can just take my long form tweets, and I can edit them a bit more, adding a bit more info, maybe add like a bit more about my story. I don't know. I think it's the newsletter is a great idea. It's the first like thing I want to work on in the next few weeks and shit.
Yeah, I feel that. As far as the Instagram goes, you have 150,000 followers over there. You've built up quite an audience. I know you said that engagement is kind of lower over there now that we're kind of in a bear market for crypto. What is your plan with Instagram overall? How do you see it fitting into your content strategy? Do you recommend people are building there? Like, how do you view IG?
So actually, I don't really like Instagram, honestly, at the moment, because like the engagement for crypto pages is kind of trash right now. Because Instagram always push what's popular. Right now, crypto is not really a popular topic, so all the crypto pages are struggling. So the fact I went from like 20K followers to 150K in 2021, I think, alone. And then like from 2022 up until now, I basically lost like 2K followers. I'm not really growing. I'm not putting like a lot of time into Instagram, honestly, because it's just a side project right now. I love to write, and most of my content is based on writing. So I can post like normal IG posts, carousels, but I'm not really tapping into the potential of reels because I never share my face there. Like I never recorded videos. Probably you have already seen like videos of Mason on TikTok or Instagram, and his format works really well on Instagram because he's sharing like multiple videos every day. Like some of them do go really bad, but some of them go viral. And actually, Mason is growing still. But since like most of my content is based on writing, my favorite platform is Twitter, and it will still be Twitter in the months to come, years to come, probably. I actually want to explore LinkedIn because a lot of people told me that LinkedIn is not what it used to be. Because I always view LinkedIn as a platform that you can use just to make connections in the real job market, honestly. And since I'm not really qualified in that like market, I've never used LinkedIn, but there are now a lot of content creators I know are starting to create content there. And they also told me to just basically like copy paste whatever I shared on Twitter on LinkedIn as well. And that's what I want to do also in the next few weeks. Don't get me wrong, like Instagram is still a good platform if you use it like correctly, but especially like if you have a crypto audience, make sure to like do some like building during a bear market so you can have a huge boost during a bull market. But don't really waste too much time during a bear market there, because the algorithm won't help you. It's basically you against the algorithm. Maybe some of your videos can go viral, but most of the time it's just a waste of time. I saw actually a lot of crypto influencer that moved from crypto to AI.
Yeah, you kind of undercut your own brand and you're just kind of trend hopping. That's not really a long-term, strategy for success. And you mentioned Mason, like I think he's doing a little more of like covering the news and like updates that are coming out. And so he's always going to have things to talk about that are relevant and pertinent, where yours is more like mindset. And so when you get into a bear market, it's like you can only say the same thing so many times in an Instagram type format, in a video format, where it's like, hey, hunker down, do the fundamental research, et cetera, et cetera. Where on Twitter, you can spin that a lot of different ways through text, but maybe not as easy through video. But the videos you have done, I've seen, are like, they're memes and they're funny. You have a really good sense of humor. You're able to source these kind of, memes that are going viral in the mainstream, and then you add like a crypto twist on it. Do you think like using humor is important? And do you plan on bringing some more of that to Twitter?
Bro, memes are always going viral. It doesn't matter if it's a bear market, bull market, whatever. Crypto memes, especially, are always going viral because, like, most of the people that are investing in this space are dumb. Not really dumb in a bad way, but they love like this kind of irony behind investing in crypto. So when you talk about getting wrecked and shit like that, but you put it in a funny way, they always engage. They tag their friends, they laugh, they share it on their stories. I mean, it's something also like that can help people keep pushing during like a bear market. You know, adding a bit of fun here and there. It's something I always like to do. I'm not really. I haven't really been like that consistent, like with making memes, even if I do enjoy that, because I don't know, like, I'm spending a lot of time trying to provide value, and like making memes doesn't really go along that well with that mindset. So I don't know, it's like downplaying myself, but I don't know, like I still love making memes, so I think I will just keep doing it, especially on Instagram, because that by doing that I will have content to put out even on reels. Because if you want to grow on Instagram, the best thing you can do is utilize everything that the platform gives you. So you can use normal posts, you can use carousels, you can use Instagram reels. That this way, like, the algorithm will help you boost your content and grow faster.
Totally. I think that a lot of things that you can do with video and with Instagram, all that stuff is, it could be repurposed. And I think that you talk about like not wanting to really water down your brand. And it depends what you're going for, right? Because I think you can still have that balance between the growth content and then the value based content. And I think some of the best personal brands, and a few of the guests that we've had on here, Taylor Simmons and Kenny and Wokoye, both talked about like these three pillar processes they have. And a lot of people have kind of these where it's like one, they all frame it differently, but it's generally speaking like one is growth, one is like actionable content, and then one is like results or kind of like talking about like things that you've accomplished and things like that, and some sort of balance between those, all using personal stories as like a thread through all of that, is probably the best way to build like the most well-rounded brand, quote unquote. So, you know, I would encourage you, if that's something you're trying to do, is like, don't look at memes as like, oh, this is like shitty for me. It's just like, hey, it helps me grow. And then I'll draw them in, and then they'll see the really deep stuff. And all of a sudden they realize I'm actually this multifaceted creator that can do all sorts of shit. And that, like, brings me to this idea that like social media is amazing for networking and getting the attention of people that are really, whether influential or people that you admire. How have you used social media to network? I know, like me and you, obviously, this has been an incredible relationship that we've built in a very short time. I know you're good friends with Tokenizer and a number of other people, like especially with Twitter too. Like, how are you using it to network?
Okay, so I really think that the personal brand right now is the best thing you can have, especially for networking. Because with like if you build like your own personality online, your own brand, your own following, you can basically reach out to anyone and you will get a reply. Anyone. I mean, of course, like I'm not talking about like Elon Musk and shit like that, but pretty much all the other creators will in some way reply to you if you have an audience. Whether if you are just like the average guy, I'm not saying that in a negative way, but like my DMs, for example, are full of like normal guys that are DMing me, and I love that. But most of the times, I don't really have the time to engage with them. Whether if I get a DM from a content creator, I'm more likely to reply to him and build a relationship. So it has been great. I've been using it to meet like a ton of people, and I've built like lifelong friendships with uh, because of my brand. And it's one of the best decisions I've ever had in my life.
It's the first time over these last couple of months that I've really been doing the same thing and just really going after the connection game and like trying to meet people, get on Zoom calls, just shoot the shit, send voice messages. And I'm doing that a lot by using spaces, has been one of my biggest unlocks as far as just introducing myself to someone in real time, offering value to an audience, showing that I'm professional and I'm creative and, I'm personable. So you kind of like flex a little bit on who you are. You can even give a little background on yourself as like lead-ins to your questions if you get called up for a Q&A. So there's a way to kind of like showcase who you are in a very short amount of time, and then you can follow up with them in the DM after and be like, hey man, it was great sharing the stage with you. Really enjoyed this, blah blah blah. Like, if you're interested, like I'm happy to just drop a Calendly and we can maybe just connect this week and see what's up. I've been doing that at scale and it's been epic. And I know you're starting to get a little more into the spaces game as well. Me and you have Wi-Fi Money. So if you guys don't know about Wi-Fi Money, we basically every Friday we have a space where we bring in. First of all, it's really loose. Like, we just talk some shit, we make
Yeah.
jokes, we rag on each other, and then we bring in like two or three creators or people that are making money online and really doing. We've had some great people in there. You don't really know who it's going to be. Every week you come by and people just come up and you're like, oh shit, they got that guy. And they share 10 to 15 minutes about their story and kind of the different ways they're making money. And then we take Q&A at the end. So, we usually go for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's a great time. There's a lot of networking going on in there and a lot of tips and tricks and insights. And so I'm curious from you, Nagato, like, what are you making of the show so far? We've done 4 of them. They kind of came up on a whim, but we've been hitting it every Friday, bro. And we got some big plans coming up. So what's your thoughts on like Twitter Spaces in general, and then Wi-Fi Money and what we're doing?
So actually, I before Wi-Fi Money, I just did one Twitter Space. It was the one with you and Hungarian. So that was my first Twitter Space, and I remember I was super scared. My heart was fucking bumping, and I was like going extra bit on everything, like super fast, and it wasn't really a pleasant experience. But then, like it was like probably a month ago, you told me, bro, let's start doing something together on Spaces. Let's host like a space together, and then we came up with the Wi-Fi Money name. I came up with that, and yeah, it has been amazing. I love it. It's something I really like to do because, like, one, I can make connections with great people. Two, I can make a deeper connection with my audience. I also get other people to know me. And three, I'm loving it because I'm actually getting better in like speaking and shit. Because I think I know English like very well from like a writing perspective, but actually like even like in Italian, I've never like really spoken to an audience, honestly. So it's a skill I want to cultivate. I actually want to become like as good as Andrew Tate. So like talk, I'm talking like about like talking skills. So I will have like a long way to go, but like if you start, you are halfway there. So Wi-Fi Money has been great, and I love it. I can't wait to do it again and keep doing it forever.
Yeah. I think it's got a lot of upside. And I think I haven't really talked about this publicly, but I guess I'll just give a little bit of a hint that I'm working on some crypto projects or a crypto project that, um, is kind of going to be my return to the space in a way. So having Wi-Fi money, I think for both of us, it's really flexible, right? We can talk about crypto because a lot of people that follow us are there for that. But we can all the name's Wi-Fi money. It's just making money online. So it's personal branding, it's content creation, it's all these things. Next week we're going to have not this Friday, but next Friday we are going to bring in and do a more crypto focused one. And so like we can basically do whatever we want. I'm curious your take on the crypto markets right now. If people are looking to, maybe they're invested already and they're just kind of holding on and just waiting for the hype to come back, or maybe they've been watching from the sidelines for a long time. They hear about Bitcoin, they hear about blockchain, but then they see like FTX and they see all this other stuff, and they're just like, I don't really care. And then there's people that are like, screw crypto, like it's all a scam. I don't want anything to do with it. Like, where are we right now in the adoption of this technology? What kind of investment opportunities do you think are interesting? Like, what are you seeing out there for crypto?
So I really think that crypto is here to stay, obviously. I really think that the next months will potentially be really good for crypto in general. I actually, my own vision, and I shared it multiple times on Twitter. And I know that a lot of people disagree with me, but I don't care. This is my vision. I really think that by the end of 2023, we will see a bull run. I actually think that Bitcoin will probably break its previous all-time high, and also a lot of altcoins will run like crazy. And I actually think that will be the last like crazy bull run, because we have to remember that this market is still unregulated, but in the next few years it will likely be regulated. So the crazy money will be gone by then. And I think that the crypto market in the next few years will turn more into like a stock market, which means that it won't be like it won't have like crazy cycles, up 10,000%, down 95%, up 10,000%. It will be just like a more gradual growth into the mainstream. That's what I think. But I actually think that if you're investing in crypto right now, just DCA. It's the best option if you are here for the long term. Even like right now, a
Can
lot of
you explain
altcoins are
what
still like,
DCA is for people that don't know?
it's basically dollar cost averaging. Instead, let's say you want to invest $1,000 into crypto. Okay, instead of just investing $1,000 today, you decided to split this $1,000 into 100 dollar purchases along, let's say, 2 months, 3 months, 5 months. This strategy will help you mitigate the impact of volatility into your purchases. So it's actually the best strategy when you want to invest in crypto for the long term, because like this market is really volatile. So the risk are the risk that you will buy and then maybe your investment will crash like a lot. It's usually like pretty high, and the volatility can scare a lot of people. So if you do things slowly and DCA slowly, and in the meantime you learn about crypto, everything will be way easier, and like you will sail the crypto market in a way better way. If you invest in crypto, especially for the long term, okay, you have to realize that you're investing in a industry that it's just in the first phase. It's in the birth phase. So you cannot invest in crypto and think about what's going to happen tomorrow. It's not the way you do it. You invest in crypto and you think about the next 5 years, the next 10 years. That's how you make the big money here, in my opinion, because you are still investing in something that's just in its birth phase. And like focusing on like the short term, it's not the way to go, especially if you are inexperienced, like because a lot of people come into the market, they want to make fast money, they want to make easy money, they want to become millionaires overnight. Like I know a lot of people that came into the market in 2021 near the top. They expected to invest like, let's say, $1,000, and they wanted to become millionaires. But then they lost like 80% of their investment. They sold, and they now are calling crypto a scam. That's what happens when you have a short-term mindset. On the other hand, I know a lot of people that came in 2021 at the top. They got wrecked, but they kept on staying here. They kept on building their portfolios. They had like a long-term vision, and then in the long term they will win. Absolutely. If they don't invest in crap, they invest in strong projects, they will win. No way, no way this market is not going past its premium all-time high, blow past 10 trillions. It's inevitable. I don't give a fuck about what everybody thinks. It just, that's it.
I'm with you, bro. I mean, the technology, it's too important to the actual fundamentals of building security into the internet. Like if you look at it, if you zoom out, if you pretend you're in like the year 2300 and you're like, "Oh, there was this 30-year period where first they had like, they just set up servers and then they had like websites and then they had social media and then they integrated payments." It's like this is just the payment part. Like this is just the next step of having security on the internet, which is fundamental so that we can actually transact without having like corrupt middle people. Like it's just so necessary. So to your point, there's a lot of projects that aren't going to make it, but there are a lot that are. I think you have a very interesting call that things are going to happen quickly to the end of this year. I actually haven't seen anybody saying that. So you're anticipating kind of like front running the halvening, which is basically, in 2024, for those that aren't aware. It's hard to pinpoint the date. It'll be sometime in Q2. It looks like every 4 years, about Bitcoin's supply distribution goes down. It gets cut in half. And so because of that, there's a supply shock. Less Bitcoin will be created and coming into the market. And normally what we see around that time is a bull run start to take place as people just react to that supply and demand dynamic. So you're actually saying that you think there's going to be a run before that, and it could be correct as people kind of maybe if an ETF gets approved from BlackRock or something like that, and they try to catch people off guard and get people really emotional and FOMO-y because no one's really expecting it to come yet.
Because like I shared like a tweet a few days ago. I've been talking about this scenario for the past few months, honestly, but I shared like a specific tweet, like it was like 3 4 days ago, saying that like 90% of the people in the market right now, they are expecting a pullback of BTC in the like, let's say 35 40K region. They expect BTC to go there, and some people expect a retracement to 20K, and other people expect a retracement to like 10K. Okay, but 90% of the market participants, they expect a retracement from that zone because SEO, it's a huge resistance, etc., etc., etc. But I always like, it's a lesson I've learned through experience. Okay, when everybody is focused on the same scenario, in this case this retracement from there, usually it doesn't happen. So I think that we blow past like 35K 40K, we retest it, and then we go up from there. Honestly, that's my scenario. It's the scenario that will take off guard the most amount of people, honestly, because they will end up FOMOing much higher because I think they are missing out, and they will FOMO and they will push the price even higher. And I also think that the majority of people are expecting cycle to repeat. Okay, you know, halving after halving will be the run. 2025, that will be the all-time high. But I don't know, like history always repeat itself. Doesn't always repeat itself, but it always rhyme. But this can also not be the case, because like if you look at the previous bull market, everybody was expecting a blow off top, me included. We didn't get the blow off top. Okay, and usually the blow off top, it's what ends a bull market in crypto. It's what happened in the past. So we didn't have a blow off top. Why the fuck right now we have to like experience the same cycle as before? Why? It's just based on like hard mindset, I think, at this point. And also people, they keep on saying like recession, blah blah blah, but everything I think it's priced in. Even I really see a blow off top in the stock market as well, honestly. But I'm not really a super experienced in that, so won't say anything else about that. But I actually expect like the next few months to be really good for investors.
I like the way that you kind of frame it because I didn't think of it this way. I do consider a lot of times when everyone's looking one way, things usually happen another way. But the way that you framed it, where you're kind of taking, people are expecting different things in the short term in terms of, pulling back from here, going sideways from here, or maybe topping at 40K and then coming back. But if you group them all together as everyone thinks we're going to stay in this range, then all of a sudden you're like, okay, that is actually like 90% of the people. So what's the opposite? Would be just going to the moon like really quick, catching the public off guard, getting everything FOMO-y, if you're talking about the people, the market makers, and then having an opportunity to really cash out and make a lot of money. So look, man, you're on record now. I mean, you already are on your Twitter, but maybe we'll clip this clip when it happens, and take it to the bank. And
Yeah, bro. I also want to say that you don't have to listen to my words as gospel and just YOLO. No, you have to manage your risk and you have to be prepared for both scenarios. That's what I'm doing with my own bags. Like, for example, just like 10 minutes before recording this podcast, I took profits on a coin that I'm holding because it went up like 300% since my entry. And I could say, oh, okay, I'm in profit. It will go higher. Fuck it. But no, I took profit because maybe we can retrace also. I mean, my favorite scenario is that we will have a bull run before end of the year, but it doesn't mean that I'm not prepared for the opposite scenario to become a reality. So you always have to manage your risk. That's the number one priority if you're an investor, especially in crypto, because if you don't manage your risk and you're investing, let's say in the S&P 500, maybe you lose like 15% of your like principal. But if you do it in crypto, you can lose like 80%. You can lose everything. So always manage your risk. That's the number one thing you should do before like thinking about how much profit how much profit you will make. You have to think about how much money you can lose on this trade. You can lose on this investment. That's the number one thing you should do.
It's great advice. Everybody should listen to it. It goes right back to the beginning of the show. We're talking about greed, not letting it get the best of you. And so making sure that, you secure your profits when they're there. And listen, man, I think I've been very happy with getting to meet you on a deeper level. We've been following each other for, a little over a year and things like that. But, we hit it off recently on a Zoom call. We've been talking a lot. And now we started Wi-Fi Money and have you on the podcast now to take your podcast virginity. I'm super proud of that and proud of you because I know that this isn't necessarily the easiest thing, and coming on in your second language and doing all this stuff is just really great and it's inspiring to me. I love watching what you're doing with the long form tweets, with all of your content. It keeps me guessing. It keeps me engaged, and I see why your audience loves you. So proud and happy to be building this relationship with you, man. And I just want to give you a chance to tell everybody where they can find you online, what you want to point them to, any last words that you have for the listeners.
So you can just basically find me on Twitter. And then there is like in my bio, there is like a pin tweet. Sorry, there is a link, sorry. And you can click on the link and you can see all my other social media. But just follow me on Twitter, it will be fine. Everything I will do, I will shield it on Twitter. So that's it. Even like if you don't want to follow me on Instagram, it's fine, because like on Instagram you will just find the same shit I will be sharing on Twitter. So just follow me on Twitter, push me to 100K before the end of the year, and I will be happy.
Perfect, man. All right, well, the link's in the description. Nagato, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. Love you.
It's been a pleasure, bro. And actually, like, this would be a turning point of my life, because I want to commit to like a really hard schedule, and I want to grow under out of aspects from here to 6 months. And in 6 months, I will be coming back, and you will interview me again, and we'll see what happened in those 6 months. It's like an accountability shit.
Let's do it, bro. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. The bigger it gets, the bigger the guests, which means more valuable conversations for you. Also, make sure to check out the Pointing Up email list in the description to get early access to new episodes, plus exclusive answers to questions I ask the guests that don't make it into the show. See you soon.